Okay, 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a note that Councilman Brungart and Councilman Studnicka are absent. Item number 1 is old business, approval of minutes. The regular meeting minutes of September 4th, 2025 were provided for review. So I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of September 4th, 2025 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call a roll.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Mr. Kowaleski.
Yes.
Mr. Garvey.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Mr. Clements.
Yes.
Motion passed. Audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? No takers. New business. Item number 2 is Monroe Manor RHID public hearing. The city council is being asked to conduct a public hearing regarding the establishment of the Monroe Manor Reinvestment District Housing Incentive District. Monroe Manor is a 194-lot, single-family residential subdivision located east of North DeSoto Road, south of Kane Drive, and north of Holiday Drive. The developer, Circle H Land Development LLC, intends to construct all necessary public infrastructure for the subdivision and is requesting an RHID reimbursement for a portion of those costs. So I need a motion to open the public hearing to consider the establishment of the RHID for Monroe Manor.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call a roll.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Mr. Kowaleski.
Yes.
Mr. Garvey.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Mr. Clements.
Yes.
Motion passed and public hearing is now open. I will pause for the developer to come up and just give his brief.
Hello, everyone. Roman Hahn from Circle H Land Development. I'm the owner of Circle H. And there's a presentation loaded here. I don't know if you want me to walk through the entire thing or just kind of hit the high points. I'm happy to do whatever you...
Okay. I would just hit the high points, but
Okay.
I think most of us are familiar with it.
Yes, I think we've talked about it a few times. So I'll get... I think the introductory piece there is to some of the comments in the past of just wanted to make sure everyone knew who we were and where we came from and where we are. And we go back to that one. This is who we are. We're a family business. Me and my sons are the only employees of the business. We're from Kansas. I'm a University of Kansas grad. I have a residence in Lawrence. I do have a residence in Texas as well. Which is where Circle H is based out of, but I have a residence in Lawrence. I have 3 of my 4 kids live in Kansas City. My only granddaughter lives here, so Kansas is where we are, and it's where I was born and raised my entire life. And so I think there's been some perceptions in the past that maybe we're from out of state coming in trying to bring in a big company and into the Kansas City area and capitalize on the growing real estate market that's here, but I've been here a long time, and I intend to stay here. My family's here, like I mentioned here. And just to highlight here, and this is not to spend a lot of time, but what is RHID, where did it come from, what did it start as, and what does it evolve to? And I think you can see it started out very much as a bipartisan bill back in the late 90s, and the initial purpose was to promote growth in rural communities, and as they started to roll those out, mostly in like the western Kansas areas, it evolved later, as you can see, into 2023, into not the rural investment, but or incentive program, but a reinvestment. And so it's taking communities not just in the rural areas, but in out places like Lansing and other areas, in growing maybe more urban areas to where the reinvestment is needed. That's what the bill was voted on, and you can see that it was voted Republicans, Democrats, whatever side you sit on. It was very much a bipartisan vote for the reinvestment incentive. And then just more specifically here for Lansing, as there was a lot of time and effort spent by the economic development team, and also many of you being part of that is the Lansing housing study. We paid very close attention to the things that were mentioned in there, and to ensure that the product that we were trying to bring to Lansing was actually the product that was needed here and not something that we thought was needed. And so we spent a lot of time in the Lansing housing study. And these are just a few of the highlights. I think it's close to 80 pages long, and so to go through all of it would probably be a little much for here, but these are some of the things that we looked at and considered as we were thinking of what types of homes, what size should the lots be, what price range should they be in, what's the demographics of the people that will potentially buy these, and the housing study did a really good job of outlining that. One of those is, hey, there is a housing shortage. Lansing will need 560 houses. This is directly out of, you can flip to the pages if you have it available. We have one, if someone wants to look at it with us, but you can reference the specific areas where some of this information came out of since it's such an extensive document. But of those 560, what it said was 65% of those 560 homes need to be for single-family dwellings. And then taking that number and saying, of that 65% for single-family, we propose that the size, the types of homes, single-family homes that need to be developed here are in this category. And you can see that's the category that we've highlighted here. That's about 200 homes. Specifically, it was 218 homes in the study. And this development, Monroe Manor, is 194 homes that fall well within the categories of where they had highlighted that these homes should be. A couple of other points that came out of there that out of the housing study is, housing development needs to be a key priority for the growth of Lansing, not just in residential and single family, but also the commercial organizations that are looking for places to expand their businesses are looking at rooftops first. And so if you want to get commercial interest in other parts of your city, then that's where they generally start. And if there's not rooftops, then generally they start to look elsewhere. And so I think it could not only help you on the tax base that's being created with the single family, but also from the commercial side as well. Promote better connectivity with the city. This is an infill project, and that's probably a real estate term, but basically it means that there's developments on either side of this, and it's an empty, undeveloped piece of land that sits between two, the neighborhoods or developed property. In this case, it's two single-family developments that are on either side of where this will be, and some of the reasons why they want to see these infill type of projects is that one is it connects the city. There's a walking trail there that's a perfect connector for connecting the city and other individuals that live here in the other neighborhoods. But it also helps catalyze some of the development of some of the other vacant areas around. And so this fits that mold with regards to, is it an infill, is it in the city? I know there's been other considerations here for other development projects that were not within the city, maybe outside on one side or the other. And there were some feelings that, hey, if we bring homes there, are they really going to contribute to the urban living, so to speak, from Lansing? Is it going to contribute to Lansing if they're that far out? This is right in the center of Lansing. And if you start to look at things like support services and public services, whether it be school bus routes for the Board of Education or just public services offered through the county, makes it a very serviceable area, given that it's surrounded by other residents and also that it's in the middle of the city and not somewhere else. With these 194 homes that are built and just making assumptions of where these the price ranges of these homes will be, it's going to create about $60 million of market value. So that's just basically taking 194 times what each of the values of the houses will be. And so it's going to create $60 million of market value here. And you start to look at tax assessments and how those get assessed. It starts to add up pretty quickly. And what you'll see later is it'll contribute about $1 million of taxes to the city throughout this RHID and then beyond. And so I'll show you some of the details of that as we move forward. The RHID that's been requested is a small percent of the total cost of the project. As you can see here, the total cost is around $12 million for the total project. This RHID request is for 3 of that, which is roughly about 26% of the overall project cost. And what that means is Circle H will put up all $12 million for this project. No money comes from the tax bases until those residents are purchased and the individuals that live in those homes start paying taxes on those homes. And then it starts to generate the RHID. That's where the RHID incentive is generated, not from other areas of taxes where you're going to take money from somewhere else and bring it into here. So only time that RHID funding is paid is if you're receiving substantially more than that in tax revenue from those homes that have been sold to residents. I think, you might ask why do you need these RHIDs? The specific areas here, there's a multitude of reasons on why, but these are the high level. As you know, the demand in other areas of Kansas City now for real estate tradesmen, everything from framers to plumbers to electricians to all of the trades, extremely scarce, and so therefore the prices of all of those have skyrocketed because of the scarcity of those resources. Interest rates, obviously, maybe we'll see some changes here coming soon. I think we had a little bit of movement yesterday, but hopefully some of that will start to come down. But as it is now, very high from just borrowing from land acquisitions to development loans, and so everything has that interest rate tacked onto it. And then because of the topography and where we are up in the northern part by the river up this way, the project costs are just naturally higher because the topography is much more, a lot more elevation changes in the terrain, but also the depth of the rock whenever you go to put sanitary in that's 8 or 12 feet deep and putting all the infrastructure in, you're having to remove a lot of rock. And so there's a lot of costs that comes associated with that. The term of this RHID is 6 years, and you'll see the numbers behind this here shortly, but 6-year RHID, I know that's quite different than maybe some of the others that you've recently seen. The split through that 6 years is 84.5% of the RHID revenue that's created by these homes is Circle H. The other 15% is what the city takes along the way. And so once we get past the 6 years, which is what the goal is, you get to the 6 years, the RHID is over, and then all of the revenue is now new revenue for the city from 6 years and beyond. And it generates a substantial revenue stream for the city from year 7 and beyond. The last, and you may wonder why we were the first RHID district established in Lansing back whenever we started talking to the economic team here, and now why are we the last one here? And some key drivers behind that. One is from some of the guidance from here, but also the county and other entities, they wanted to see some more details on, hey, what are the actual plans? Do you have engineers' estimates so you know really what this is costing as an estimate? Do you own the land? Is there an approved plan for this project? And so some of you might know the preliminary plan was approved about 30 days ago. And last night, the final plat of phase 1 was approved for the project. And so we wanted to make sure we had a clear understanding of the project, clear understanding of the cost and what was associated with it prior to coming and asking for our RHID program. This is where it lies. You can see this to orient you. There's Fairway Estates to the north there. You can see DeSoto Road. It's basically 3 plats that have been put together for this overall project. And you can see, as I spoke about the developments, how this is an infill project. You can see the development to the north, one to the east there, and then also to the south. And so it's very much it's a great location for an infill type of project, especially with the trail that cuts through here and goes through the other neighborhoods and so forth as well. This is what that land will look like once all the plat is finalized and the lots are developed. It's the same format as what we saw on the previous slide. I'll kind of toggle back here so you can kind of see the overlay of what that will look like. If there's concerns of traffic and so forth, we've done the traffic studies, third party, not us, but third parties. We reviewed those with the city staff on the traffic flow and how that would impact current roadways, but also the sizes and widths and what we need to do internally as well. One of the things that's unique about this project, unlike some of the other projects that we have, there's 4 points of entrance into this neighborhood, and so it gives you the opportunity to either enter or exit at 4 different options, and so you're not trying to take 194 residents and push them all out onto one road, one entrance, and so it is going to allow some easy traffic flow coming in and out, and in some cases, I would assume like Pebble Beach that's running north and south, there is a connector that was stubbed on both of the developments to be a pass-through street between those 2 neighborhoods. I think one of the things worth mentioning before I go to the next slide is the roads that you see here, the infrastructure we'll put in cooperation with Landell, the water, the sanitary, all the infrastructure, storm and sewer, everything that goes into this is really what's part of the RHID. And so the investment that goes in is, like I said, it's about $12 million of infrastructure that you're getting for the $3 million of the RHID. So once we finalize this project, there'll be an HOA that manages this of our choice. We'll have them in place to make sure that the neighborhood looks great now and also remains great. And if it gets to the point where it's not looking great, we'll change HOAs and how we manage the neighborhood. But it will be a managed neighborhood to make sure that it's maintained and in a nice neighborhood as we move forward. This is the breakdown. There's obviously probably 100 line items that go into each one of these, but from a summary perspective, this is where those 11 million, the first column to the left there, those are the items, land acquisition and infrastructure. Those are all the improvements that I just spoke of. The project budget, there's the 11.6 and what makes that up. RHID eligible, all of that's eligible for RHID. So and I think you've probably seen in some of the other requests where it has been included, let's include everything. We are asking for the 11.6, the RHID eligible, and then you can see the ones that we're requesting and it's being utilized or would be utilized for Monroe Manor is the 3 million. So of that, we're using about 26% of the actual RHID funding that could be available if we were requesting that. And this is probably a little bit of an eyesore for everybody sitting farther away than when I'm sitting, but this is basically the top right is the year 1 through 6 showing number of houses that will be built, the market value created, all the things that I summarized on the first couple of slides about market value and tax revenue and tax assessments. This is what that is, and so if you want to get a closer look at that, I think this is publicly available, so you can go in and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer. But this is the details behind how those numbers are calculated and where it comes from. I think when you look at the far right at the RHID summary, which is the last 4 columns, what you'll see is the 3 million is what's being requested. And then you can see the first line is that's what the county's contribution to that 3 million is. The next one is what the city's contribution, and then the last is USD 469. So you can see it's roughly about a third split across the 3 entities over this 6-year period. A point to note that maybe not relevant here, but it will certainly be relevant for questions or even future meetings if those occur, is the state funding is the 1.5 mil levy for the state of Kansas is removed, and you can also see for USD 469, their 20 mil levies for general fund is not included in the RHID as well. I think we can probably skip through this, and I've talked through this. These are the parcels and what their current value is. Right now, the taxes received on these 3 plats, or the 3 tracts of land, all combined, is $11,000. Post-development, when this development is done, that will be over $1 million. So in summary, just wrapping up, and this is just probably talked to many of these points already, but really kind of highlighting, tying back some of the key points back to the information that's been provided, not only from the Lansing housing study, but also the study that was done. The school USD 469 recently did a study as well that's been that it's pointed out some of the very same things that we saw in the housing study, and then there's been some very specific guidance that was provided by the county, which one of those being we feel like could be potential adverse effects in an RHID program if it extends beyond 15 years. And so the key focus of ours is to try to keep the period of the RHID short. So we intend to go in and build our home builder will be building about 40 homes per year. That's why we need the 6 years, because they can only build homes so fast. And then once either the 6 year or the $3 million is reached, it's over. It moves on. The city is receiving all the tax. If that happens in 3 years, great for everybody. But 6 and the $3 million is what the RHID request is for. And I think that's the last piece. Hopefully that was fast enough summary and still got to the key points. Happy to answer any questions or take any feedback at this point. Or
You guys have any questions for the developer?
You will be responsible for engaging the HOA.
yes, we're already engaged in I think 3 or 4 different HOAs right now, and we're going through that selection process well ahead of time right now.
Okay. So you're dealing with people you've dealt with before and are comfortable.
Yes. So we got some pretty trusting relationships building with them, and so I think we'll get off to a good start here.
Okay.
You looking to utilize any local contractor for some of the work?
Yeah, oddly enough, we were just with Lino Weaver right before this. We met with them. We're out walking the property, so we engaged with them a couple of months ago, and have been kind of every couple of weeks connecting and talking through things. So absolutely, and we have the builders also based here in Hakes Brothers. Also has their Kansas headquarters is here in Lansing, and also engaged with Country Club Bank as well, so as part of the potential financing.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Please come up, state your name and address, and
My name is Jerry Geese. I live at 804 Pinehurst. I'm a resident of Leavenworth, and I'm also the chairman of the Leavenworth of Lansing, and also chairman of Lansing Planning Commission. I have a couple, and I don't want to take too much time. I do want to point out a couple things. The housing study doesn't say there's a need for 650 houses. It says there's a want. The numbers were based upon what stakeholders like realtors and builders suggested they'd like to see, and the other one was what the city council saw as not having been built in the past, making that up, and then doubling that in order to get to this number. So it's kind of an inflated number, not based upon any identified needs. The other thing I think I'd like to point out is that if the city council does the city council recognize that unless the council plans to do no additional public services to these people, not hire a new fireman, not a new plow truck, no more hours for plowing streets, none of that's going to occur, because this 200 houses represents a 5% growth in the city. So if you're not going to have to do that stuff, then it'll be a wash. But if you are going to do that, it has to be made up by the existing citizens or by this mythical commercial growth. And there won't be enough Jeeps sold to make up that difference. My calculations, and I can show them to you some other time at work session or something, because it's a lot of figures, it would take a new Dillon's grocery store or that equivalent to that. Of course, it won't be a grocery store. There's not enough people buying groceries. But something that would be comparable in size each year of the 5 years to make up for the taxes that will be lost, unless you raise our taxes.
is there anyone else? Yes, come on up. State your name and your address.
I live with Jerry. My name is
Sorry
Jane.
about that.
I don't know. I kind of like it. My name is Jane Geese. I live at 804 Pinehurst in the Fairway Estates subdivision. I am concerned because I don't see any consideration of Leavenworth or the situation in Leavenworth, when in reality, we're right next to each other. So we really can't look at everything separately. That's my first concern. And I was a planning commissioner in Leavenworth and head of the Board of Zoning Appeals for many years, so I've been around a lot of planning myself. My other concern is the kind of houses that are being built on these tiny little lots aren't going to be compatible with the homes in our neighborhood. And I think in any of the new subdivisions in Lansing, is that kind of house going to fit in? They're small. We've driven down to Lansing and seen, and I don't know if all of you have, I hope you have, and I'm easily appalled, as most of you who know me. I just couldn't believe how tiny these houses were on these tiny little lots. And putting that next to most of the subdivisions in this city, and this city has developed with subdivisions that are mostly more expensive houses, nicer houses, and that's been great for this city. But these houses are not that. And I just have that kind of concern. I'm also concerned about the coyotes and wildcats that are already running around in our neighborhood. And if all of that's taken out, we may have elephants and tigers. I don't know. But those are my concerns.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak during the open hearing?
Tom Lahan, 526 South Hickory Trail, and I'd speak in favor of the RHID. They're asking for $3.8 million. And this is only over 6 years, assuming they get all 194 houses built in that 6-year period. The cost to the home buyer, if this does not go through and they still manage to build all these houses, the cost to the buyer is going to increase by $15,000 per house minimum. I think that we can suffer with 20% of the taxes over 6 years versus having no new construction. In the last 2 or 3 years, we've had, 4, 6 houses built? You're either growing or you're dying. It's time to grow. If this is what it takes to grow, suffer for 6 years. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Was there anyone else who'd like to speak in the open hearing? Yes, ma'am, come on up.
My name is Jill Barnaby. My address is 24650 147th Street. My concern is the location. I drive from basically the high school to the Justice Center. I work at the Justice Center. The traffic is horrific. Now you get the intersection where Dillon's is, and you get the intersection where QT or TSC is, and because I work for the county attorney, I see a lot of the accidents. And when you put in 194 homes, who's going to pay to make those intersections more safe? He did a traffic thing, but that's leaving that subdivision, not those intersections. So that's now more EMS, more time for them, and it's just the casualties. So I just want to make that observation of where this location is.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to speak on this one, on this topic? Okay, well then I need a motion to close the public hearing for establishing the Monroe Manor RHID.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call a roll.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Kowaleski,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 3 is ordinance number 1140, Monroe Manor rezone. The applicant proposes to rezone a 25.5 acre tract of land from R2P to to R2 Single Unit Residential District. The property owner is asking for a rezoning in preparation for future development of this property and has received conditional approval for a preliminary plat based on this rezoning. Staff recommends a motion to approve the application in accordance with the Planning Commission's recommendation. That's one motion that you can make. You can either make that motion to approve or a motion to override the Planning Commission's recommendation by a 2/3 majority vote, or return the application to the Planning Commission for further review. So I need one of those three motions to be made.
I make a motion to approve the application in accordance with the Planning Commission's recommendation.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve. Are there any other motions? If not, call a roll.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Kowaleski,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clements.
Yes.
Okay, the motion to adopt ordinance 1140 has been approved. Item number 4 is
Mayor,
ordinance.
can we have an alibi? Mr. Kowalski, did you mention the ordinance number?
Yes, he did.
You did? Okay.
I didn't mention the ordinance number. I just read the approval here.
I just want to make sure that we're clear on the record that we're adopting that particular ordinance, so.
Yeah, I said, I recommend a motion to approve the application in accordance with the Planning Commission's recommendation.
Okay, all right. As long as that summarizes the ordinance, then we're fine. Okay.
Yeah, well, the item read was ordinance number 1140 Monroe Manor rezone.
Okay, all right.
So-
Just clarify. Thank you.
Be good. I also said the motion to adopt the resolution was approved at the end, so
Okay.
we should be good. Item number 4 is an ordinance 1141, Monroe Manor RHID ordinance. Ordinance number 1141 would formally establish the Monroe Manor Investment Housing Incentive District and adopt the associated development plan and development agreement. The RHID establishes a maximum reimbursement cap of $3,026,943 for eligible infrastructure costs. The RHID will operate a pay-as-you-go basis by using the incremental increase in property tax resulting from new development. No bonds will be issued, and the city assumes no responsibility beyond the RHID increment generated by the property itself. The term of the RHID is 8 years or until fully reimbursement is made, whichever occurs first. Staff recommends the council adopt ordinance number 1141, establishing the Monroe Manor RHID, approving the development plan, and authorizing execution of the development and funding agreements. So I need a motion to adopt ordinance number 1141, which establishes a Monroe Manor RHID and approves the development plan and authorizes execution of the development and funding agreements.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just have a question on why it says the term is 8 years when we're looking at 6.
Which was my question.
I figured it might be coming. It's a good question, though. The plan, the RHID plan, and our development plan with our home builders remains 6 years. It's a 6-year plan. Cap is the 3,000,000, That remains the case. The 8-year was something that the attorneys agreed to add, not just ours, but also the city's attorney that oversees the RHID, that says, what happens if there's a delay in home building and the 6 years expires? So they agreed to say, let's put a buffer on the end, even though the plan is to build the 40 homes a year to complete in the 6-year period. Let's build in some buffer just in case it's needed. It does not increase the amount. It just says, hey, if something happens along the way, it's going to be, 2031, which we try to predict as well as we can, but if something happens, they even said pandemic type of stuff happens, then what are we going to do? So they're like, let's bake in a little bit extra time there in case something comes up.
And to follow up on that too, because I know their attorneys were talking to our attorneys, and our attorneys were generally okay with that, because even if it ends up being 8 years, that was still one of the shortest RHID terms that they're familiar with in all of the ones that they're doing throughout the state of Kansas. So I know the goal is 6 years. I think the financial projections are 6 years. But yeah, I think there is a 2-year buffer in case there is some type of major recession or pandemic or something like that. But I think certainly the goal is 6 years, and Mr. Hahn is right. The financial number doesn't change whether it's 6 years or 8 years.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Got a question, Mr.
Go ahead.
All right.
What is your estimate from the date that you move onto the property before all your infrastructure's in place? How long?
Each phase, it's a 3-phase project, and so it's literally like 3 projects as part of one. Each one of those is about 9 months.
Okay, and then how long does it take to build the 40 houses?
Then they will build, the moment that we start to release lots, say the first phase is 60 lots, and we start to release those and building permits are provided by the city, they'll start on those immediately. And so generally speaking, if everything flows well, they can build anywhere between 4 to 6 houses a month, depending on, tradesmen and all the things.
So the point what I'm getting after, before you can build sell your first house, you're already into your second year.
Yes,
Because the first year's with your infrastructure.
That's correct.
And then you guys start building houses, and you're gonna only have about 4 houses in year 1.
right.
So, just to further explain why I need 8 years, he's gonna lose a year up front doing the infrastructure.
And if I'm correct, I believe the time starts tonight on top of all of that. And so we still got to get contractors and all that in place. So the clock starts ticking now.
That was
So
my question. When does it start?
yeah, if in fact it's approved, it's right now.
But it's still got to go to the school board and county.
Yes, we got 30 days left of school board and county. And so if it gets through all that, then it reverts to,
And that clock starts tonight.
yes.
Yeah, I agree.
So if the clock starts tonight and you don't have any major issues, everything will be done in 6 years?
Yes.
You're still staying with the 6 years in that?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, I need a motion to adopt ordinance 1141. Oh, we already did that. I'm sorry. We had a motion and a second. Finished discussion. So call the roll.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalewski.
Yes.
Mr. Garvey.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Mr. Clemens.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 6 is bid approval for Clearwave fiber optic communications installation. The Lansing Water Facility located at 555 North Highway 5 is somewhat isolated from Lansing City proper. Due to its location, adjacent fiber optic utilities are not readily available and have to be run great distance to supply the facility. So given the sensitive nature of operations and the need for timely information flow, reliable, dependable connectivity is imperative. Clearwave will provide 1 gig business class connection, which is on par with the other city facilities, and will allow the treatment facility to be a reliable location for backup emergency operations should the need arise. Staff recommends approval of the quote for the fiber installation. So I need a motion to approve the quote from Clearwave Fiber for $50,295.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Mr.
Call the
Garden.
roll.
Mr. Garden.
And
Sorry?
This
Sir.
one gigabyte, is that gonna be sufficient for like 10 years, or is there gonna be sometime in the near future that's gonna have to be upgraded?
I think it'll be sufficient for a significant amount of
What you
time.
need.
I don't anticipate adding that heavy bandwidth, in the next decade or two.
I'm sorry, anybody else have something for Tom?
Yes, I was just gonna ask, where's the money coming from?
The utilities acquisition account, we budget funds every year to give us the purchasing authority to be able to provide funding for these types
It's
of
not
things.
property tax, Dan. I'm just letting you know, it's not out of property taxes, so.
I just have a question about, is this a planned, sorry. Is this a planned expense, or is this something that's just kind of popped up?
We have had continuing difficulty with the current provider, and they are unwilling to assist in rectifying that issue. So we've looked at other avenues to try and provide the service that we need.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have a motion and a second, so call the roll.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Kowaleski?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Clements?
Yes.
Item number 6, it's another wastewater item. It's a bid approval for G Building roof replacement. The blower building, G Building at the Lansing wastewater treatment facility was constructed as part of the original plant back in 1981. The roof on the building has begun to leak and water has been entering the building. Staff bid this project and a bid opening was held on 29 August. 3 bidders submitted qualified bids. Delta Innovation Services for $44,322. Meridian Roofing Solutions for $26,467. And Premier Contracting for $32,352. This was originally requested in the 26 budget. However, leakage is persistent and now time sensitive to protect the building's content. The amount requested includes a project contingency of 5%. So I need a motion to approve the bid from Meridian Roofing Solutions in the amount of $27,790, which includes the 5% contingency.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion for Tony?
How come there's such a big wide range in these bids?
I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest with you. I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get any local bids, because we met with 3 local contractors that do this line of work, and we made it a point to provide them with bid documents, and none of them even bid. So we've called references and looked at their BBB ratings and all that kind of stuff, and we're satisfied that they'll be able to do the work for us.
Sounds good.
Anyone else? Anything for Tony? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Kowaleski?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Clements?
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 7 is bid approval for sewage grinder rebuild request. The Lansing wastewater facility operates 2 in-channel sewage grinders in front of the main influent pump station. These grinders macerate solids into sewage to smaller pieces that can be safely put through the pumps. So you need them. The grinders have an a finite life span before they need to be rebuilt and refreshed. They typically last 5 to 7 years. This spring, unit PSA G1 was pulled due to a mechanical failure, and the spare unit PSA G2 was installed in its place. Staff has taken the motor and gearbox to local shops for services and are now in inventory waiting to be mounted on the rebuild grinder. A quote was submitted for AG1 to be rebuilt with a new cutter stack, sandblasted, repainted, and all serviceable parts replaced by the manufacturer. So the recommendation is a motion to approve the quote from Letts, Van Kirk and Associates in the amount of $26,697.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one?
I've got one, Tony.
Sure.
Have you explored how much it costs to get a new one, like to replace versus rebuild, and then potentially, because I probably know more about this than anyone up here, potentially explored a different brand to where maintenance is a little bit easier to be self-performed in-house?
The first part of your question is a new unit would be in excess of $70,000. And we've had really good luck just rebuilding these with, it's a giant,
Yep.
steel box with some pretty robust hardware in it. And these are the original units from, 2005. And so they just kind of swap out parts and pieces and everything else is good to go. I haven't looked too much into replacing them with a different manufacturer because a lot of times they like to conveniently add on robust modifications that need to be made either mechanically or electrically.
Sure.
And that tends to drive the cost up. So we've had really good luck with this brand. This is the first time we'll be using Letts Van Kirk because they're now the new rep for that company. But I stand behind the manufacturer, and they seem to do a really good job for us. So did that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay.
Tony. Thank you.
Perfect.
Anyone else have anything for Tony on this? No? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Mr. Kowaleski.
Yes.
Mr. Garvey.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Mr. Clements.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Reports, any department heads? See a couple out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got a lot of department heads in here. Nobody has anything, okay.
We don't want to hear from Tony anymore now.
Yeah, we heard enough from Tony. City attorney?
Another report, Mayor.
All right. City administrator, Tim, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think some of you guys are noticing the repairs that are going on at the pool as you're driving up and down West Mary Street. The main thing that I would tell you guys about that's to ensure that both of the water slides are functional for next year. So I think they had to upsize some pipes and switch around some things on the runouts. But those repairs, those updates, those are coming at no cost to the city. That's kind of a result of the one slide not being functional last summer. There is still about $300,000 remaining in retainage on that project that will not be released until the project is complete. So obviously the contractor has that financial incentive to get it done and to get it done right. So again, if people ask you about that, those are repairs, but that is no cost to the city what is going on right now. I did put an update as far as the number of season passes and daily passes that we sold this year in the agenda memo. I was pretty impressed with that. Overall, I thought it was a very positive year for our aquatic center for our first year. So really proud of Jason, really proud of Joe McGuire, our aquatic manager. And again, like we had talked about, it was also a lot of work for Tish, hiring and onboarding 40 or 50 teenagers, and as well as Beth, getting those people in payroll and paying that many more people every single pay period. So it was a lot of work for a lot of people on the team. Really proud of everyone and the job they did, but those final few things are still getting done this fall. So. After our work session a few weeks ago, Mike Spickelmeyer and I reached out to the Mid-America Regional Council to talk more about what we can do to be more competitive with our grant applications and things like that. So we had a Zoom call with them earlier today. It was positive, and they gave us some feedback on what we can do to improve our grant applications. We spoke about this a year and a half ago, the last time we applied for the 4-H Road project, but I'll remind you guys again. If we're able to apply for that project next year, and if we are fortunate to get it, those grants are 80%, and that's a $7 million project. So even our 20% on a project of that scale would still be like $1.4 million. So if we decide to apply for that next year when we're formulating the budget, that's something we need to kind of keep in the back of our mind. If we want to try to get those grant dollars, that's a worthy goal for us to strive for. But even with a grant that large, our share is still over $1 million. So something to keep in mind for next year's budget. And then the final thing I was going to mention, the Kansas Department of Transportation is having their regional meeting, stakeholder meeting on Tuesday, October 21st at Great Wolf Lodge from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Some of you might remember we sent a pretty large contingent to this meeting 2 years ago, and it was nice. We had worked with folks from Leavenworth County and surrounding communities to all kind of coalesce on that K-5 project. And shortly after that meeting last time, the Kansas Department of Transportation kind of put that up on their list. So even though we don't have a firm date for that yet, KDOT has kind of earmarked $30 to $35 million for K-5 improvements. I do think it would be a good idea for us again to have a nice contingent of people from Lansing to advocate for K-5 and any other perhaps K-7 improvements or anything like that. So I will keep you guys posted on that. It's a Tuesday, it's in the middle of the day, but if any of you guys can go, I think that would be worthwhile. For those of you guys who were there last time, who might not, or for those of you who might not know this, you break up into all of these different little small groups. So it's really nice if we can have at least one person from Lansing in each of these small groups, so each group can hear about K-5 and its importance to our region. So again, I'll keep putting that bug in your guys' ear, but hopefully we have a good turnout for that meeting at Great Wolf Lodge on October 21st. So.
Yeah, I want to point out, when you talk about coming as a group and working together, that Wyandotte County also placed a high priority on 5 highways.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we were getting connections and wanting to join in with a different county,
Yeah.
just helped our cause too.
It was so impressive last time because it felt like we kind of punched above our weight. If you looked at all the scores from that day, we were ranking above Johnson County projects and some Wyandotte projects as well, just for the fact that we were all united. We weren't all advocating for 10 different projects, we were united. So that really helped us out last time. And again, if anyone's open Tuesday, October 21st, I think that would be a good meeting to attend.
Well, there were a lot of cities and counties throughout Kansas who had genuine critical needs, and because I remember thinking, boy, we're in trouble based on what I was seeing, what everybody else wanted. But I think the fact that we were all together, 2 counties agreed on the same project, made a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Jim, have you reached out to KCKCC? Because they advocated pretty strongly for us last year.
I haven't yet. I just got this date a few days ago. But yeah, that's a good idea to reach out to them because I think they were at that last meeting.
They sure were.
Yep.
All right, anything else, Tim?
I'm good.
Anything? That was it? Okay. We'll go around the horn. Kevin, you're first.
A couple things. Tim, thank you for doing that interview with Ken. I hope a lot of people get to watch that because he's done a lot for this city, and getting that out there before he leaves us is important, I think. And I was at the Pratt Board meeting last week, and you were talking about the youth and how young the kids were at the working at the water park. Jason brought up that they handled some issues very well. So we should be proud of our youth and how they handled themselves, especially that first year at the pool. So that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Gene?
I just want to say, I want to thank, we have a great staff here, top to bottom, who are dedicated to their jobs. And so I want to just again thank all of them because we've got a great crew. And when it's time for somebody to step up, it doesn't take long to get somebody to do that. That's all I have.
All right, thanks, Gene. Jake?
Yeah, I don't have anything.
All right, thanks. Jesse?
I agree with Gene, though. I mean, our staff is awesome. They do a great job. So, I mean, they take on a lot of responsibilities when they don't have to. And we appreciate all of our work, for sure. I want to say that presentation earlier by the Circle H Land Development Group was spot on. I really thought it was one of the most informative presentations I've seen on our HID program. It should have shed light on the incentive to the community to do this project. That's all I've got.
All right, thanks, Jesse. Pete?
I have nothing, sir.
All right, thanks, Pete. Dan?
LCPA met this week. I did not attend due to some medical conflict. I wasn't able to go. I've been asked a couple of times about my move and when I'm going to step down. We've got good news and bad news. Good news is, yes, I've moved into a new house. Bad news is the house is in Ward 4, so I'm not stepping down. I'll finish my term. That's everything.
All right. It's almost everything, but you're last up.
Well, I would like to make a move to adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you. Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Call a roll.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Kowaleski?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Clements?
No.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.